So Minshew or O'Connell? There was when Antonio Pierce came out in the post game press conference, and post sacrifice press conference. He said some of the guys are making business decisions, and so now we're going to have to, right? He wasn't talking quarterback.
Oh no,
but that is a conversation to be had. So it's been more or less confirmed that Minshew will start again this upcoming game against Cleveland. Should that be the case? Because we always knew, like, one of the advantages of having a quarterback battle is your number 2 quarterback isn't that far off of your number 1 quarterback. So it's not like, all right, do we have to go another direction? It's going to be a massive drop off in talent, right? That's not, whether you were Team Minshew, Team O'Connell, I don't think anyone's like, one of them's 10 times better than the other. I don't think there's anybody that was like, okay, the gap between the two is insurmountable. There's, you like one of them, but you're like, okay, they're pretty close. It was a competitive quarterback battle, and I think this guy should play, but it was close, right?
Yeah.
Is that time to make the change now? Is that time to make the change coming up? Is that something that could change mid-game on Sunday? Is this something that shouldn't even be broached? Because I thought one of the good parts of having a quarterback battle is Minshew should never be comfortable. You should never be like, oh, I got this all wrapped up. It's like, no, you got to deliver. You got to deliver because we got a guy that is about as good as you. Some people think better. Some people think worse, but damn near close. And the easiest thing to change on offense isn't scheme, isn't offensive coordinator, isn't lineman. It isn't bringing in a new running back or a wide receiver. It's changing quarterback. That's the easiest big change to make it on offense.
So if you change to O'Connell, you really got to stick with them, because this going the back and forth thing, it's not like, hey, hey, Minshew, you're just struggling right now. Once you figure things out, you'll get back on the horse and you'll be the guy. That's not what you're saying when you bench a guy that didn't pull away from the other guy, regardless of who it is. If you move to O'Connell, that's what you're saying, and Minshew's going to be the backup from here on out. And you're going to live and die with what O'Connell gives you. I'm not saying it's going to be better. I'm not saying it's going to be worse. What I am saying is we can't judge O'Connell's drive at the end of the game to what Minshew was doing, because O'Connell was playing a lot of backups in prevent defense.
Time. Yeah, it was garbage time.
And so it's like it's
you look good, but it was garbage time.
It looked good, but again, they weren't playing the same players, and they were kind of just like letting the
keep him in front of you.
Keep him in front of you, no big plays, right? I think that there has got to be a very, very specific set of things that Minshew has to improve upon in this next game, and you give him a little bit of time. And if you're seeing the same thing, let's say about halftime, and if it's the same old bullshit where he's not going through his progressions, where he's having happy feet, where he's not throwing the ball to the open man, when he's not doing that stuff, then you have to pull the plug. Because that's a part of, like what I talked about in the postgame show. Applied knowledge is power. You have to apply the knowledge that you get. If someone is showing you something for 4 games now, and it's not getting better, and these are things that you pointed out to him directly, and you've told him specifically these things need to change and these things need to get better. Here's where this guy was open. Here's your reads. Here's this. Here's that. And he's not doing that. Then it's just not going to happen. And you don't have the luxury to think, okay, well, we'll just kind of wait and see if it happens. No, he's already shown you that it's not going to happen, and you have to go to the other guy. At that point you do. I think that you still roll with Minshew to see how it works, because if you change, it's a change, and it's the rest of the 13 games after that. That's where the change is going to be. So give him a chance to see. You selected him to be the starter for a reason. He showed you a small glimpse of that. Help him out with some play calling, help him out with some movement offensively, give him some easier throws to make. Start him off in a rhythm. If none of that stuff works, because look, the play calling hasn't worked. That hasn't worked either. So address everything, and then see. And if that's still an issue, then you can make the change.
Well, like I mentioned, the biggest thing, like the biggest reason for this change, like, look, the Raiders' problems aren't primarily Minshew. Minshew hasn't been good, but the much bigger problem is the historically terrible run game, the very bad offensive line, the very confusing and baffling play calling, and Minshew's play has also been a part of it, right? But those other three things you can't just turn around, right? Quarterback's the one thing where you can be like, let's try something different. Let's cause a spark. Let's shake things up. I don't know if I use this example on my show, but when I was playing squash in Abu Dhabi with one of the audio guys, he was whooping my ass for like 3 straight games. And so on the 4th game, I was like, hey, let's put $100 on it just to change it up. And I won. Like, for whatever, like, it just, I played a little better. The pressure got to him, whatever, right? It was just like, let me just.
He's not a prime-time player, baby.
Exactly. Like, when the lights are brightest, homeboy likes to perform, right? So it's just like throw a monkey wrench in it. Drop a nuke. Try something, right? Like that, like those sparks can lead to things. Andy Dalton just did that. Like that's one of Andy Dalton's best games ever. Everyone's like, oh, Andy Dalton's that good. He's not that good.
No.
But it was a spark. Deontay Johnson's like, oh, I can run these routes for a reason now. Chuba Hubbard's like, oh, I'm going to run better. Like all these guys had like fantasy football fucking king days because it was a spark. It was something new. It was exciting. It was an extra pep in your step. And when you're all the elite of the elite of the elite, like the Carolina Panthers or the Kansas City Chiefs, the athletically skill level between the two those teams is minimal when it comes to the grand scheme of things, right? You're all still the 1% of the 1%, right? If you can just be half a step more excited, a quarter of a step more motivated, that's the difference between being the worst team in football and blowing us out, which is what the Panthers did. And so that's more the reason why I'm like, before this season gets really out of hand, let's really look at giving Aidan O'Connell a shot. Not because I think Aidan O'Connell's so much better than Minshew. I said before, I don't think either one of them is. They're good and bad at different things. I don't think either one of them is drastically better than the other. But the spark that a new quarterback brings is real. It is tangibly real. It is. You can touch it. We see it all the time. That's more the thing. Before this season gets really out of hand and before our schedule gets really brutal. Hey, you made it to the end of our video. Great job. I know you want more. Go ahead and click the next video. And if you're feeling crazy, go ahead and subscribe.